Okay, so now I'd like to talk with you about the hero's journey, and specifically the hero's journey in light of the wife of Bath's tale. If you remember, the first important thing that we find in the hero's journey is we have to determine what our threshold of adventure is. This part up here at the top represents our known world. Underneath here, where we find all the trials and errors, represents the unknown world. So what is our hero's known world? Who is our protagonist? Well, the person going on the journey is the knight. So the knight is our protagonist. So what is his known world? Well, at the start of the story, we realize his known world is that he can take a girl by force, and it's okay. He thinks he knows what women want, and so he takes a woman by force. That's what he understands to be known. Here's where we have the call to adventure. He sits before the king and queen. Arthur gives the queen the knight and says, do with him as you'd like. And here we find the call to adventure or the call to action. It's on page 1727 of your text. It's at about line 38. The queen says, I grant you your life if you can answer me this question. What do women most desire? Or what do women want? That's what the queen asks him. You find the answer to what women want, and he's got 12 months to answer this, and then he'll yield his body to her, to the queen, and the queen will decide his fate. So we first find our call to adventure. What do women want? We got to look for the triumph. What is the triumph? Well, the triumph is going to be when he discovers what women want. We see the triumph when he meets the old woman. The old woman, at about line 141, whispers something in his ear and tells him to be glad and have no fear. So when the knight goes back to court, he repeats what women want, and that's at the bottom of page 1729. Women desire to have the sovereignty and sit in rule and government above their husbands and have their way in love. So women want to rule over men. Okay, so women want to rule. Okay, so that's the triumph of this story. Then we have to look at the elixir. How does this knowledge play out and bring healing to the community? Well, we find the knight acting on this knowledge because of how he had to come in contact with this knowledge, how he had to obtain this knowledge, he had to agree to marry the old lady. So he goes back to court, he reports the findings to the queen. The queen says, you're right, that's what women want. Now we have the elixir. How does this play out? Here he is, he's married to the old woman. He has to sleep with her. The old woman gives him a lecture, and that's digression number 2, the pillow talk on virtue. And he says, she says to him, well, what do you want to do? She says, I'll tell you what, you can have me old and ugly till I die, but evermore your true and humble wife. That's on line 300. And he says, or if you want me to be young and fair and you could take your chance, I might be found to be beautiful by some other man and I might run away. And here's the elixir. He takes his own advice that women want to rule, and he says to her, this is line 510, in your wise government I put my life. Choose for yourself which course you best agree, with pleasure and honor both for you and me. I do not care. Choose either of the two. I am content, whatever pleases you. So the elixir is, he gives his wife choice. He gives wife choice. And as a result, she is no longer old and ugly, she's beautiful, and she is true to him. So that's our basic triangle on the hero's journey and the call to adventure.